So, right, my name's Keith Costello. I'm doing a novel based on an incident in Algeria. It's a fictional story, and this is the very first, the prologue, the first section of the book. I want you to listen to it and give me an idea if you think it works or not, and also whether you make certain assumptions about the characters, and what kind of assumptions you make. That's the kind of feedback I need. Some of you may have heard this part of this before, but I've revised that part as well. The first section is actually the last paragraph in the book. So I'm starting at the end and going then back and forward in time from that point forward. Book 1, the first year prologue. I could hear the rhythmic beating of skin-taut drums calling us. We ran, then entranced watched. Standing so close, we could see the sweat beading on the drummers' faces, smell the energy and vigor. Others danced and shouted in the night, spinning their guns and firing their ancient rifles. A terrific bang that shook the air, so loud it made you jump. An acrid smell of gunpowder and white trails of smoke floating upwards in the dark. The flickering flames of handheld torches reflected and shimmered on the shiny bare arms of the dancers, held high. They were jet black. Their skin contrasted with the white flowing robes. A purple shesh wound around their heads, covering all but the gleaming whites of their eyes. They were swaying and leaping as they moved wildly round and round, stamping their feet in time with the rhythmic beating of the drums, the heartbeat of pristine Africa, earthy, wild, remote. Musa dancing, hands and arms waving and circling, loving every second, smiling, laughing, everyone clapping with the beat and passion of the dance, Musa twirling and laughing. I woke in a cold sweat with my heart pounding. I hadn't had that dream for months. Why now? Dazed, confused, my mind in a muddle, I opened my eyes but couldn't see anything. It was so dark. That image of Musa dancing had revived memories I'd locked away. I started to breathe slowly, concentrating my mind and dissolving the dancing and singing, but the image of Musa remained. All that day I was hungover with a lack of sleep, hazy and numb. Then my phone rang, unknown caller. It was a local number, so even though I felt annoyed by the disturbance, I swiped it. Is that Dave? David? It's Farron. Remember me? Farron? Yes, of course I remember you. I was taken aback and glad, but also fearful to hear from him. What kind of premonition did that dream bring me? Where are you? I'm here in Vancouver. I thought we could meet and chat, catch up. We'd lost touch, but Farad had tracked me down. He was at a business conference and staying at the Fairmont Waterfront Hotel. Algeria had been fun, stimulating, dangerous, and the awakening of my sexual identity. I'd filed those memories away in recesses of my brain that I hadn't wanted to reopen. They were too painful, but some part of me did want to meet him and pick at the scars. I drove up to the Fairmont and met him in the lobby. He was older, of course. We both were, but he was still good looking, and we were both genuinely pleased to see each other. We hugged, and then Farad asked me about Sue. I hesitated, shook my head. It was too painful. Later, not now. He looked around at the crowded lobby. Come up to my room. We can talk more easily there and have dinner sent up with a bottle or two of wine. Yes, I said in a weak voice, fearing the inevitability of it all. I admired the view, overlooking the harbour and across the bay to North Vancouver with the mountains still capped by snow. It was a beautiful scene, but I felt awkward. I wasn't sure what to say or how to start. Farad interrupted my thoughts. I can't stop thinking about all of us and those years in Algeria. Musa, Liz, He stopped and looked at me. Musa. His name crashed into my consciousness, reawakening the dream from last night. Coincidence? Not now. I can't. I know, but he was my cousin. We were all good friends. His voice faltered. He looked lost, but it was comforting to be with someone who understood. I did want to revisit the past, but couldn't take the first step. I knew it would be painful, but would it help me regain peace? Cauterize that long-standing dream? We spent the weekend together, talking late into the night and going for long walks around Stanley Park, reminiscing about our shared past and walking the seawalls freed us both. We revisited all the joy and grief and joked, laughed, and then got emotional again. That's when I decided I had to write the story to finally clarify those memories. This story is as true or as accurate as I can make it. I was too small a cog to know all the details. As far as the Algerian government is concerned, it never happened. It was a blip on the radar, too small to even have registered and easy to deny. Farid is not his real name. He never came to Vancouver, and I had to change some details to ensure he couldn't be traced. The rest of us, nobody cares. Chapter 1, Leaving England, June 1978. Good morning, this is Mr. David Graham. I'm phoning to confirm the time of my interview, I said. Mr. Graham, your interview was yesterday. The headmaster will not see you now, the school secretary informed me in one of those commanding upper middle class English accents. Later, I realized he'd been dismissed from England. Admittedly, I'd confused the dates. I had decided to spend the weekend visiting friends in London. Some part of me decided it was better to have the interview on Friday instead of Thursday. Still, maybe fate had intervened on my behalf. The job was to teach English lit and drama in a private high school in southern England. Thinking about it, I knew it wouldn't have been right. And I was glad. At 24, freedom and adventure awaited rather than stultifying boredom. I was British, born and bred, but had never been abroad. And so after completing my postgrad teaching course, I wanted something more in life, I think, than a teaching post in the UK. Back to the Times Ed, the rag for jobs. I saw one from the Algerian Ministry of Education requiring native language speakers to teach English in local high schools in the overseas section. Salary was good. I applied and was accepted. I remember the day and date well. Monday, 4th of September, 1978. Checking in at the Air Algerie desk. It was a new beginning, my first real job. So it's basically what kind of assumptions did you make about Musa that would be interesting, and any other comments you feel like making.